Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a review for you. I'm reviewing the Urban Decay Electrics palette. This palette has been huge on YouTube. I know there are tons of reviews and tons of tutorials, but I thought I had to do my own version and my own look and my own review just because I love bright colors. I think bright color eyeshadow is fantastic, and this is the look I came up with. So if you want to see how to get this look, stay tuned for the tutorial. It will either be up before this video or after. I'm not quite sure. So anyway, with all that said, let's get into the review. This palette is amazing. When I saw other well-known YouTubers have this palette, I had to go get it. Luckily, I had just enough money left over from some makeup jobs that I did to be able to go and purchase this palette. This palette is not your typical eyeshadow palette. It is actually a palette of pigments. They're pressed pigments, and what that means is basically if you had a regular pigment, the regular pigment would look something like, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble trying to grab one. A regular pigment would come in something that looks like this. This is Sugar Pill eyeshadow. This is Tiara. And it would come in something that looks like this, and then you would open it up and you would have a loose pigment. Well, what Urban Decay has done is they've taken these types of pigments and they've pressed them into a palette. So when you swatch these, they're very powdery. As you can see, they're very powdery, and that's fine with me. I mean, just that swipe across the mirror and look how pigmented those are. So that's what the difference between an eyeshadow palette and a pigment palette is. This is a pressed pigment palette, whereas these are eyeshadows. So these are much harder and much more difficult to get on your brush, which these are not. You just tap your brush into one, and you get tons and tons of, oh, you can't see that one, sorry. So here, slow burn. Just tapped it in there and look how much pigment is on the brush already. So you need to be extremely, extremely careful with how hard you press into these pigments. However, with all that said, the case is fantastic. I love this front here. I love the front. It's so pretty. It just shows you this is a bam in your face eyeshadow palette, and you definitely want to go out and buy it. You open it up and you get this mirror, and this is a really good mirror because you can actually use the mirror. It doesn't just go flunk like the Naked palettes do. This one actually kind of has a hinge to it, and it kind of just sits there, and you can definitely use this as a mirror. This also comes with a brush that's in this little spot here. I don't know if I have it with me right now. It might be in the, yeah, it's being cleaned right now. But it's a dual-ended black brush with a flat shader brush that is similar to like this, like a paddle brush, and a really small smudger brush that is similar to this, only they're much, much stiffer. So that's the brush. And the brush is really good. Don't get me wrong, I love the brush. It's just being cleaned right now. I don't have it with me. So let's get into the review of the actual colors themselves. Disclaimer warning. Here's the box that it came in. And on the back, you have there's the brush right there, you can see. And you have all the names of all the pigment. And then if you notice, down here at the bottom in this really tiny, tiny writing, it says, warning, slow burn, savage, jilted, and urban are not intended for use around the immediate eye area. I have slow burn and savage near the immediate, and urban right here near the immediate eye area, and I have had no problems whatsoever with that. So if you just have extremely sensitive eyes, I would avoid using those around your immediate eye area, which means your lash line and your waterline. In the crease would be fine. On the lid would probably be fine. So yeah, so I'll show you what those four pigments look like. So slow burn right here, savage, Jilted, and Urban. Those are the four. Those two and these two are the four that they recommend not using around the immediate eye area. And that has to do with the fact that there are tons and tons of red and pink and purple pigments in these that are not FDA approved with the FDA. Now, that does not mean that they're bad for you. It just means that reds and pinks and purples tend to, if there's tons of pigment, which is what these are, if there's tons and tons of pigment, they may irritate your eye. So just be careful. Test it around your eye first, like if you're at home or something, and then go for it and all that good stuff. So that's the reason that those four eyeshadows are being warned against using. Now, getting into the actual tutorial, or the actual review, sorry. Just did a tutorial, so I'm kind of in tutorial mode. First one that we have is Revolt. That's Revolt. It's just a very pigmented silver. I actually have that on my brow bone. I didn't use as much as this is right here, but I did use it right here on my brow bone. Next we have Gonzo. And it really does live up to its name. It does definitely resemble Gonzo the Muppet. If you guys are younger than 1995 or older than 1995, Gonzo was a Muppet and he was this color, and it's definitely, these are with no primer, by the way. No primer and no base. So that's Gonzo right there, and that one's a really, really pretty color. Slow Burn, please be careful with Slow Burn, because it is super duper pigmented and it looks red on camera, but let me tell you, it is super, super orange and fantastic, and I have it on my lower lash line right there. Gonzo is in the outer 1/3 of my eye, so Slow Burn is right here. Sorry about that, guys. My phone was ringing and I had to answer it. It was my mom. Okay, next step after Slow Burn. So there's Slow Burn, like I said. It looks red on camera, but it's actually orange. Next up is Savage. And Savage is a bright, hot pink. Right there. These two are two of the four that are recommended for not for the immediate eye area. But I have both of these near my eye area, and it's perfectly fine for me. So you have to test them out and see if you react. Next in this row, which is the top row, is called Fringe. I didn't get enough product. And this is just a shimmery marine blue, which is really pretty. I didn't have enough product on there. Sorry, guys. Here, let me do a better swatchy. That's better. There you go. So there is Fringe. And they have an eyeliner. Urban Decay has an eyeliner called Fringe, I believe. These three here are matte. And this one is metallic. This one is a satin finish. Okay, moving on. Bottom row. So that was the top row. Now we're going to do the bottom row. Starting with this bright blue. And this is called Chaos. And Chaos is a little bit patchy, as you can see. I went from a really immediate dark swatch to really light. This was actually in the Vice 1 palette. So if you got the Vice 1 palette, this is nothing new. It's just something people wanted to have brought back, and they did. So there's Chaos for you. It is also a matte finish. Jilted. Jilted is one of my favorite colors. It looks purple in the pan. That is Jilted. It looks purple, but it's actually more pink than purple. It's more of a magenta-y color. So that is Jilted. Urban is next. And Urban is named for Urban Decay because Urban Decay is known for purple. So that is their color, Urban. It is. This is also a satin finish, and this is also a satin finish. A little bit of sheen to it, but nothing overwhelming. So that is Urban, and these two here, along with Savage and Slow Burn, are the ones that are not recommended for the eye area. Next is Freak, and they also have an eyeliner named Freak, and it's this beautiful green color. I have Jilted and Urban both in my lid, in my crease. Freak I have on my lid, on the inner part of my lid right here. So that's Freak, which is a really good green color. It's a little bit lighter, but it definitely has really good payoff too. It looks a little bit less green than it does in the pan. And the last color on the bottom row is called Thrash. And this is a really limey green color. So there is Thrash. This palette overall, I am super impressed with it. The colors are really, really great. The payoff is really, really great. And the only one I have a problem with is Chaos. It's not as blue as I would like it to be. It's a little patchy. I'm still debating on how to use this color, but otherwise I have not a lot of complaints about this this palette. So I really suggest, it's definitely worth the money. The packaging is really good. It has a magnetic closure, if you can hear that. And it definitely is worth it for a makeup artist, or if you love bright colors in general. The reason I say makeup artist is because there's a pretty good variety in here. I really wish they would have put a yellow and maybe a yellow and probably an actual orange, like an orange, and that would have been a good mix of colors. Maybe take out Chaos and maybe this one, and put those colors in. But otherwise, it's still a really great mix of colors, and I'm really happy with this purchase, to be honest. I probably would give this, I don't know, an 8 out of 10 for Urban Decay. It's pretty good. I really like this. It's definitely worth the money, and I will probably repurchase this unless it's a limited edition if I ever run out of the colors, because I'll probably be using these colors quite a bit in my makeup kit, knowing that I do fashion photography as well as theater makeup. So I will probably be using those quite a bit, especially with Aladdin coming up. I'll be using a lot of the blues and a lot of the purples and things like that for the characters in Aladdin. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Urban Decay Electric palette. Next up, stay tuned for, I have my little calendar here. The next thing that needs to be reviewed is the Maybelline Fit Me collection, as well as the Maybelline lip products that I just purchased. I will probably be doing a Mother's Day tutorial shortly for Mother's Day, so you guys kind of have an idea of what you could wear for like dinner out with your mother, grandmother. If you're a mother yourself, you know, it would be a good option. So those are the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for those, and until next time, I'll see you.